Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to another video of Marvel Contest of Champions. We are running 7.1.5 Do Not Go Gentle and Oscillate today. So with Do Not Go Gentle, every 5 hits you give the defender, you get charges on yourself that explode when the defender reaches 0 health. And it gives you a lot of damage, and a lot of times you can die as well. The only way to dispel them is either to perform an intercept that removes 2 charges, or you can use a heavy attack that removes 1 charge. And combining with that, there is another node that is Oscillate. So every 15 seconds the defender either goes into a fury mode that gives him extra damage, or he goes in a defensive mode that gives him extra armor. So there are different ways to play around it. We'll discuss that in detail. And to help us, there's going to be another node that is Foresight. So whenever we perform intercept, we get extra 300% damage for 5 seconds. The boss is going to be Nightcarnage. He is a mix between Nightcrawler and Carnage. The whole boss part we will discuss once we get into it. Make sure that you have a Poison Inflict champion. If not, then you have a Shock Immune champion to deal with Nightcarnage. Before we jump into the part, guys, make sure you subscribe to the channel, like the video, leave a comment down below, turn on those bell notifications. All of that really helps me out a lot. So you can use 3 types of different champions for this path. So you can use somebody like who has power control for easier intercepts like Magic that I brought, or you can use somebody like Archangel who is very heavy attack dependent, and Captain America Infinity War. And just Magneto I brought in because they are 2 metal champions, so he will make short work of them. So the first fight is against an Iron Patriot. Now I have Magneto here. I am just gonna parry and heavy him. The best part about Magneto, that his heavy attack is only 1 hit. So the lesser the hit, the easier is to control Do Not Go Gentle. So you will notice that if I use a heavy hit and I have one of the charges is dispelled right away. So that's all I'm going to do. I don't need to go in and do those crazy intercepts. I'm just going to stay back, build up those 40 magnetic charges and use an L3 and just let it rip, and Iron Patriot will die. Other champions you can use here are Captain America Infinity War, Ghost, Quake, even Domino with Red Hulk is amazing. So if you have a Domino at rank 5, I would highly suggest you to bring for this path. For your masteries, I would say that you need to have parry, and if you can have perfect block, that will increase the timing of the stun with Stupefy, but those are not necessary anyway. And for the boost, I would suggest you guys to do a bit of boosting for this part, because this part and the next part that we're going to do, Terminal Velocity and Build, are the hard parts of the section. So if you boost them, they can finish quicker. I'm not using any boost, but I would suggest you to use some because they will be helpful. Now the second fight is probably the most annoying and the longest fight in the path. I'm gonna use Captain America Infinity War for this fight, and I have a skill champion to dispel any poisons or armor breaks I get. So the whole thing is to just use my heavy, build up to my L2 and wait for his attack phase. If you look at the right side of the screen, there is an armor up phase on Oscillate. As soon as it will go into an attack phase with Fury, I will try to intercept him and then parry, and then use my heavy into SP2 to give the max amount of damage and to make the fight shorter right there. And I'm gonna block it, and again now I'm gonna use an SP2 right there. There you go. So this is how you can manage through it, and you can give a lot of damage. Other champions you can use here is going to be again Domino with Red Hulk. You can bring in the Trinity as well. You can use Hyperion as well because immune to poison, so he works really well with the heavy attack and SP3 combo. Another great champion that I find is you can use OG Hulk with Sasquatch synergy. So what that does, whenever you have Fury on yourself, the opponent is power drained. So essentially you can always have the Fury upon you, and Sasquatch will have no power, so he will always dash into you and you can intercept. So Hulk works really well here as well. Apart from that, there is always Quake that you can use here. Ghost will not work because of the armor breaks, and also you can use Warlock. So it's pretty much on you. Use champions that their heavy attacks have more value and they can bring in more damage. Next up is going to be a bishop. Now with bishop, if you bring in any energy champion, he will make your life miserable. Energy attack champions. So I would suggest to bring in only physical attack champions so he does not get those charges up. For me, I like controlling his power so he does not use his SP1s or even SP2s, because once he uses his SP1 and that energy damage can really hurt you. So in my case, I'm gonna bring in magic. You can get the same results if you use Dr. Voodoo or if you use vision as well. Apart from that, you can also bring in warlock and you can also bring in hyperion, so it's your choice. I like using magic because I can power control him, and those charges on him can kill him off himself, because he will start getting damage when he goes above 30 energy charges. So all I'm trying to do here is to keep him to an SP2, and when he's in attack phase, I go in with 4 hits and I swipe back and he charges into me like this, and then I go back and hit him, and those are easy intercepts, so you don't need to worry about all of those charges that are building up in the beginning. Just focus on getting the SP2 and power locking him, and you can stay away in the defensive phase of oscillate. That is fine. So once you go in the attack phase, it's super easy. There you go, there's an SP2, then you go back in, now swipe back, and then the 2 charges dispel. So you can keep doing that, and by the end of the fight, once he has above 30, all you need to do is to concentrate on getting those do not go gentle charges down, and yeah, that's about it. He just dies himself very quickly. Next up is going to be a Moleman. So he can be a bit tricky because of his shrug off and his monster mass and going unstoppable. So try to bring in champions that are heavy attack based and uh, also have ability reduction. So for example, Archangel, I can easily work through him, and I just have to wait for at least one neurotoxin. I know that his ability accuracy is reduced and he will not shrug off the stuns. You can do the same by using some other champions. You can use Ghost here as well. You can also use Quake, uh, Domino Trinity. Anybody who is heavy attack based or who has easy intercepts, you can use them. You can also use Magic and Voodoo here. All of them work, but I personally like using Archangel because he makes life super easy. You can also bring in here Colossus, and he will work as well. If you combine Colossus with Omega Red Synergy, then all of that extra damage will kill him off really quick. So it's your choice. So all you need to do is with Archangel is to build up those neurotoxins and keep those do not gentle charges down with heavy attacks, or you can throw in an intercept here and there during the oscillate attack phase, and that's about it, guys. He will just melt away in front of you. Next fight is against a Corvus Glaive. Now he is an easy fight. His SP1 and SP2 are easy evadable. Most of the times he will just throw SP1 if he is in the attack phase. So all you need to do is to bring in a champion who can handle that. So all of your champions work here. In my case, I'm gonna bring in Magneto because Corvus is also a metal champion and Magneto will make short work of him. The only thing we need to care about here is not to get hit or miss a parry, because his 5-hit combo will hurt really hard because of his glaives. So I would suggest to keep knocking him down with specials or with your heavy attacks to keep those glaives away and from hurting you. And once you have that down, you can just build up to 40 magnetic charges and use an SP3 and he will die pretty quickly. Again, for your other champions, Domino Trinity will work really well. Magic can work really well with her intercepts. Voodoo can work as well here. You can also Quake and shake this. You can also use Ghost and Captain America Infinity War as well. So it's upon you what champion you bring in. Once you by this point, after 4 fights, you should be very used to how to handle Do Not Go Gentle. So yeah, the hard fights are finished. This is one of the easier fights of the path. The final fight before the boss is going to be a Quake. Now, Quake is also very simple and straightforward, but the tricky part is when she goes into a defensive phase in Oscillate. So when that happens, make sure you have a lot of distance between you and her, otherwise she will start charging heavy and that will give you shock charges, and on aftershocks you will get stunned. You will notice here I'm just using Hit Monkey and I'm just laying in the damage on her on the attack phase, because Hit Monkey just works like that, and I'm baiting out this SP1. So right there I was just near her and she charged a heavy attack. Now I have those aftershock charges. Now I'm trying to stay away so that aftershock charge does not convert into a stun. Now again she came into her attack phase. Now I'm just gonna bait her SP2 out, and then right there just one hit, swipe back, go in again and dispel all of those Do Not Gentle, and there you go. You can do the same if you bring in any other skill champion. If you bring in a 6-star, the fight would be much shorter. So yeah, Quake is the easier fight. Just be careful about the aftershocks on the defensive phase. Next fight is going to be the boss fight. That is going to be a Nightcarnage who is going to evade like Nightcrawler. So also he has energy adoption lightning on him. So either you bring a shock immune champion or you bring a champion that can inflict poison easily. So here I am just bringing Voodoo because he's the only rank 5 I have, which is not a good choice because there's also Spectre heal reversal here. So what I'm trying to do is to build up to an SV1 by only using parry and heavies, and once I have that, I inflict a poison on him. Now I don't have to worry, I can go hit into him and switch him. Just there I switched him. The way you switch him is to wait for him to dash back, and once his timer starts, then you go in and you slow down your hits, then he can be switched easily. Once you have that down, now he will not evade. Now he will just come into you. All you need to do is to parry and build up to an SP1 and use the poison. Now if you're gonna use somebody like Abomination or Immortal Abomination, this fight is again super easy because they have built-in poisons that can be stacked. If not, you can bring in shock immune champions to totally ignore the node. Champions like Magneto will work here, Thing will work here, Black Widow Clairvoyant is an amazing counter here. But I would still suggest to bring in poison immune champions because there is another node on this boss that gives poison vulnerability, 200% extra damage from poisons. As you will notice, I have very less power on Voodoo, but I'll be able to get the solo with him because the poison damage really stacks. Now if he goes above 2 bars of power, he will start getting prowess charges, and you can use that to your advantage as well. With Voodoo you can convert all of them to poison as well, and he dies very quickly. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, you like the tips and tricks. If you did guys, make sure to like the channel, like the video, leave a comment down below, subscribe to the channel. All of that really helps me out a lot. And apart from that guys, I hope you have an amazing day and I'll see you next time.